In this Minecraft event, 300 players are divided into 6 nations, each with their own buffs and debuffs. They all had one goal, to survive to the end with as many allies as possible. Welcome to Nations, Season 2, by JJK03. I started in the Wasteland Nation, a desolate island with sparse farming supplies, and absolutely no animals to speak of. Our buffs and debuffs wouldn't be told to us until day 2, so for today we tried to see if we could work them out for ourselves. Hey, I wonder what he's typing. Oh my god, he just let the Wasteland members free. That cannot be a coincidence. I knew food would be an issue immediately, so when we spawned, I went in hunting for sweet berries. I set up a farm right next to our spawn location. I made sure to let the other members know that they were free to take as many as they needed. I then noticed the ferns on the ground. Oh, shoot. Which meant one thing. Seeds. I spent about 10 minutes spamming as many ferns as I could to accrue enough to start a wheat farm. I quickly ran into a problem, however. So, real quick, just take a look around these screenshots of the island. You notice anything? Anything you might need to start a farm? Perhaps a certain resource that is required to craft literally anything in the game? Yeah, there's no wood. Okay, so obviously there was wood, but it was incredibly limited, so I had to grab some before anyone else at Wasteland took it already. I thought it was all over when I found this collection of floating fences, from what I assumed to have at one point been a custom tree. Lucky for me, right on the far side of the mountain, there was just a small oak stump with just enough wood to supply a bit more than a stack of planks, which was far more than I needed. Now I knew wood would be a scarce resource, which is why I only took the minimum amount of wood I needed to get. Now remember when I mentioned earlier the special effects for each nation? So you may have noticed one, which is the 2 extra hearts we have permanently. Another one you'll see in just a moment, just as soon as the sun rises, if you look in the top right hand corner, and... there. Yeah, so we had weakness 1 during the day, meaning we could only really defend ourselves at night. Back to the farming plan, I asked one of my friends, Bex, for 3 pieces of iron, which I used to craft a bucket, and now I had everything I needed to make a wheat farm. I set up an area to make an infinite water source when this happened.
Projectiles don't register when you block them with a shield. So if you just pull up your shield to any damage, it will not work and it will kill you. So we have to fix that, and some people died because of that, so they will be revived, and we have to fix that for tomorrow.
And with that, day 1 was postponed, and the final hour would continue once the issue was fixed. During the server's offline period, I was made aware of the whereabouts of a camp founded by Red Hacker and Noah 2 called Camp Kelp. I figured I might as well move the farm there to allow for easier access to the other waste members. So I moved in with plans to set up a wheat farm, and while I was at it, make room for a berry farm too. In exchange, the 2 others would help me mine for resources and... oh fuck. Well, that's fine, at least Noah can... son of a fuck. Okay, so I may have forgotten to mention that the server is permadeath, meaning if you die once, then you're out. Forever. Both of the founders of Camp Kelp had died while mining, which meant I was the only member working on it. As the last surviving member, I made sure their deaths were not in vain, and made a farm they would be proud of, which I engraved with their names. Bex was kind enough to mine for me again, and now I had enough iron to make a full set of armor and a shield. Also, there was another buff that I had forgotten to mention, so here's the second one. As a speedrunner, this is quite frankly the greatest moment of my fucking life. Near Moon Lava, the island's iconic massive lava lake, an enchanting table was placed, meaning Wasteland members could now get low-level enchants for themselves, increasing survivability. If only Red and Noah had lived a little longer, maybe they could have enchanted armor by now. But before I had time to grieve, the nation decided to hold a political debate, wherein the candidates for ruler of Wasteland would discuss their political goals and strategies, and allow the citizens to consider their options before the elections on day 2. I default dance on Emerald. Here are their preemptive speeches.
I feel like I have a very good system of dividing labor. You know, PvPers, farmers, miners, builders. Listen, I definitely have confidence in this team. All right, I do think that we can play more aggressively, okay? Well, I mean, look at us. Look at us. Look at all this enchanted gear, guys.
Pretty good.
I'm confident in this, right? I have a few ties to a lot of people in other nations as well, if you didn't know. I just need that leader position to get good with the my connection.
Hello, guys. I'm Zolister, and I just want to say, we are at the biggest disadvantage out of all the other nations. We do not have, we're useless during the daytime. We have no animals, no food, no anything. We need to be the best we can be and show everyone that even though that we are in the worst circumstances, we can be on the top. We're gonna turn this wasteland into a utopia.
My name is Bricks. I was a season 1 players in Plains. I was one of the
Crazy.
3 leaders of Plains last season. People have come up here with very offensive opinions on what they think they should do, and somebody who knows around like 70% of people who are in other nations, and they're positioned with Wasteland. People are assuming that everybody wants to attack Wasteland. That's not the case. So the whole plan, what I mean about these hierarchies and everybody coming together, is because of my plan that I've made with over 30 people already. It's called Great Nation. This involves, which is already all leaders of every nation already. It's every nation uniting under one, with all 6 leaders. And the whole plan that comes when it comes to people. We can make sure everybody's the same, and that's literally what my goal is.
And with that, day 1 was brought to an official close, and we were left with a choice to make leading into day 2. Hungry, Zolister, or Bry. So here it was, election day. I spent the first half of the session mining for diamonds before the admins were ready to record the election. Both Hungry and Zolister pulled out of the running, but in their place stood Rasplin and Lopez. And so, we heard out our candidates once more.
You know, people have said that we have the worst perks, but I feel like we take that for granted. You know? Some people may think, you know, we have good perks or decent perks. I feel like we can use that to our advantage. They're gifts. You know? We can use that to, because you know we have 2 extra hearts, and in the night we have no weakness. Nothing holds us back. We can do whatever we want in the nighttime. That's when we do our special antics. I have connections to many people in other nations. I feel like the ideal thing for this nation would to obviously affiliate with others, because you know, being one super nation will help us, you know, come out on top.
All right, guys, bow or die, clompers. No, I'm just kidding. Okay.
Woo!
Look,
Encore.
I've been studying the past week for all the war strategies to help us win this war. All right, I know what you're thinking. If you saw my last video, you know I kind of turned on my nation. But listen, this time is different. You know why? Clompers isn't here, so I don't have to bow to anyone if I'm going to survive. So that's why I'm going to take over this with you guys. So I need your help. And I need you to elect me so that I have 10 extra hearts to win this thing.
My name is Bry, Bricks, whatever you want to call me. I myself, I don't have to dream about connections because I myself have already made them. From people who have already become leaders, I already know them and they're part of my plans. People who are about to become leader right after us, I've already made the connections we already have, and I don't really think there is no winning or losing in this. Resources have already been planned for us, for instance, apples, animals, tree saplings from plains, same thing with snow, and also just like leaders. I have people who are in my pocket who are running countries right now.
And before we continue, there are a few things I need to catch you up on. First of all, the crown the candidates are running for gives 10 extra hearts to whoever wears it, for a total of 22 hearts. Number 2, Bry's plan for government was to have 1 diplomatic leader who would keep the crown, 1 military leader who would hold the weaponry, and 1 advisor who would decide which conflicts to handle with diplomacy and which to handle with military action. Emerald was already decided as the military leader, but the advisor position remained open, and I plan to run for it. Finally, the Grand Nations plan. Bry told me that if I helped him run for leader, he would work with every other nation and unite them under peace and harmony. He also promised that I would work by his side the entire time to achieve this goal. This is why I voted for Bry, and once he won, I knew I needed to win the 3rd council position. So, my goal as the 3rd council member is to keep every single one of you alive, okay? I want to do whatever I can to make sure there are no more waste deaths whatsoever. That's been my goal from the start. I was the one who set up the berry farm right at spawn. I set up a wheat farm over there. I just want to make sure that in terms of relationships with other nations, that we may always make the right choice between diplomacy and violence. So whatever it is that makes it so the least amount of people are possibly harmed is what my advice will always be. And so as the 3rd council member, I will always try to advise both the leader and the general into making the correct choice. That is all I have to say. Thank you very much for listening.
Obviously, I'm for the people, right? And I like to think I'm very flexible, you know? I hear all these speeches, everyone's priorities are set in stone, but I feel that's just not the way to do it, you know? So I feel I can listen to people and we can adjust as we need, right?
Well, for starters, you know, I had a friend once. His name was Sherlock, first name No. And the thing is, that's what I was thinking, as everybody said. I'm a representative for the people, because that's his position. The 3rd in command is a representative for the people. What you guys are probably wondering is, what is this guy going to do? All I can really say is, I'll be here for you just like everybody else here who's running. I mean, and regardless of if I get this position or not, I'm going to be on, I'm going to be active, I'm going to help out, and I'm going to be able to talk.
I'm probably only going to do what I've been doing, surviving, getting resources, until the walls drop and we need to actually go out and do things. If a fight does happen, I'll be on the front lines, as so some of you don't have to.
I'm not really good at PvP, that's why I didn't run for King or the General. I just want to take care of you guys. Last time I had a Civ event, I tried my best, I got everyone in diamond armor, I fed everyone, but they still died, and I want to do better this time.
After our speeches, a straw poll was made to decide who would win the third council position. And the last speaker, Chimera, won. By 1 vote. Naturally, I was infuriated. But I also believed in democracy, and so I chose to respect the will of the people and help Brian any other way I could. Unfortunately, not everyone had the same respect for democracy, and someone stood in the way of Chimera. Someone you'd never suspect.
Hi, Smith. Okay.
Oh,
I might
hello.
be passing over. I might be passing over since you were second. That could have gotten voted, because I don't think I'm safe.
Okay.
If you want the talking stick, here we go.
Uh-oh. Now, I had no idea how to respond to this information. I mean, was she just nervous, second thoughts, cold feet, or was she threatened? I mean, if she was, does that mean I'll be threatened if I take over? I couldn't decide how to feel about this until I default danced on Emerald and had more information. And luckily, it would be coming soon. Unluckily, it's not the kind of information I would have liked to hear.
Apparently, Emerald didn't, Emerald didn't want me revived because I was closest to taking, second in command.
Interesting.
So I'm assuming if Emerald does kill me since I'm counselor, will you guys avenge me at least?
Interesting.
Emerald, Photon, and Rubric just threatened my life if I didn't turn over my council members.
Interesting. So basically, I was sweating bullets, because the moment Chimera is no longer the third council member, my head is next on the chopping block. I was scared of Emerald, but more importantly, I was angry at Bry for giving him too much power without restraint. Bry told me that he and I would work side by side for peace, but with Emerald in charge, there was no peace, and I would never be safe with Bry. All I could do was come up with a plan until Chimera confirmed she had stepped down as third council member. And with that, the role of the third council member was given to me. I figured as long as I didn't stand in Emerald's way, he wouldn't have a problem with me, and so my position became nothing but a shadow. With Emerald calling the shots and Bry fixing his messes. There was nothing I could do. If I tried, he'd just turn on me like he did with Chimera. That's why the events of Day 4 happened the way they did.
Yeah.
Listen, as much as I'm scared of Emerald after yesterday, I still gotta do this. Okay, not that. This is what I was actually referring to. Yes.
Yeah, when borders get opened,
Yeah,
if anyone wants to head over with
gonna
me
be
to
fun.
Plains,
Yeah,
you can head
2
over to
minutes.
Plains.
Why
Rubric
not?
is coming with me.
I'm gonna go.
Plains. The most forgiving island, with terrain useful for agriculture, animal farming, and most importantly, logging. We needed to collect as much wood as we can carry, because the waste island only had 1 tree, and it's the type that needs 4 saplings to make another. We also needed apples for gaps, and saplings to make our islands livable again. Also, we knew the Plains Nation had plenty of trees to spare, so no one would miss a few logs and leaves.
No, yeah, it's...
Oh, okay.
Taylor's dead.
Rasplin attacked the Plains capital, alongside 2 of his allies, Whalable and Night Cheshire. This put Plains on high alert, and they saw our arrival as a threat, especially because we were from the same nation as Rasplin. During the confusion, Mithridac says she was attacked, and she retaliated by killing Miller. Miller says he never hit Mithridac, but at this point there was nothing we could do. We were escorted out of Plains and lost a powerful ally.
Yeah, let me talk.
Mithridac is still escorting me out. This sucks. And Bry immediately gave up on us. On day 5, we were left to fend for ourselves. Bry abandoned us, choosing instead to spend his time at Swamp. I had so much faith in the Grand Nation plan, but more and more it was seeming like little more than a trade cooperation between the leaders, which gave very little value to the people. The rich just wanted to get richer. The only noteworthy moment was this bow I caught while fishing, which I kept in the event I needed to fight anyone, say, for instance, a liar given a position of power through false pretenses and empty promises. Between days 5 and 6, I contacted a few fighters to assist in my plan. I didn't want to kill Bry if I didn't have to. I just wanted to convince him to lose his crown. He isn't doing anything for his people regardless, so he doesn't deserve it, right? In the event he would refuse to see reason, however, that was when we would strike, alongside my new recruits. I contacted Doly, the leader of the Exile Fighters, the same fighters who attacked Plains on day 4. I assumed they would have no beef with me, and Doly told me they would assist me if I could grow my army. So I spent the day searching for dissent among the Wasteland members, hoping to recruit more people into the rebellion against Bry. Unfortunately, that search was quickly interrupted.
Member as well.
Oh, the Plains members are here. Oh my god.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna run. Yeah, okay, bye.
Okay.
I ain't gonna be part of this. Plains raided the Wasteland Island, killing everyone they came across on sight for seemingly no reason. They knew we'd be weak in the day, so they waited to attack until after sunrise. My hunt for allies would be cut short, as my sole mission suddenly became survival. In total, they took out over half of the remaining Wasteland members. The few survivors of the attack found refuge in the Snow Nation, and everyone was far too shaken to even think about confronting Bry. Everyone, that is. Except for me. This was the best news I could have gotten. The Plains members weren't after us, they were after Bry. They raided the island hoping to find him, but he wasn't there. Bry's had been there for a while. They wanted the same thing we wanted, it's just neither of us knew it. Until today. With that, we suddenly had an entire army on our side, exactly what Exile had asked for. Not only that, but they had some of the best fighters, including Island, who single-handedly took out 5 players during the raid, including our military leader, Emerald. Also, Bex recruited one of the surviving Wasteland members, Roost, to the cause, which gave us 3 Wasteland members against our leader. We devised a plan, in which the 3 of us would bait Bry out, and while he has his guard down, Plains and Exile would attack, leaving no chance for him to survive. All that was left to do was find Bry, and take the crown off his head, and the revolution will finally be over. We'll have won. After all this effort, nothing could possibly go wrong now. Code 404 was killed by Mithrodak. Holy shit.
Killed by Mithro? Wait a second.
What?
What?
Mithrodak, the first major wedge between Plains and Waste, killed her leader. I saw this and assumed Code was working against us, and that Mithro was still on our side, but I was quickly informed by Cryptek that the opposite was true, and that she had betrayed us. Crypt also told me Mithro was a high-ranking member of Plains, and knew every detail of the plan to assassinate Bry, which meant it would only be a matter of time until Bry knew too. Plains exiled Mithrodak for treason, and for leaving us compromised. Not only that, but she wasn't the only person to kill a Plains member. It was full-on assault. A raid, just like what Plains did to us yesterday. Except this time they were all my allies, people I relied on for the attack on Bry. The few survivors elected one of their higher-ups, Tarpor, as the Plains leader. I, on the other hand, was left with barely a few Plains members and an assassin working against me. But wait, hold on a second. How could I know for certain that Mithro was working against me? There could be any number of reasons she attacked Code. Not only that, but I have no reason to believe that Exile betrayed me either. They just attacked a team I happened to be working with. The way I saw it, I had a choice. Either align myself with Plains, who aren't necessarily as strong fighters, but are intent on killing Bry, or align with Exile, who have no personal quarrels with Bry, but are much stronger than Plains. In the end, I chose Exile, and in exchange for their help with Bry, I would deliver them the remaining members of Plains. The plan was simple. I would meet up with Plains, tell the Exile members where they were, and run away once they arrived. Rinse and repeat until every Plains member is gone, or they figured me out. I didn't want to betray Bex, but I was more than willing to if they chose to ally with Plains instead of Exile. Luckily for me, I never had to make the choice. Bex! Last minute, the Plains members changed their plans and decided to split up, which threw an enormous wrench in my plan, but I figured instead I could try to move from person to person, telling Exile their codes and leaving them to find the next victim. It was inefficient, sure, but it would work. Little did I know that my first victim, Crit, would happen to go to the same place every other Plains member was going, the enchantment table. I told Exile the codes, and sure enough, they arrived. Oh, and by the way, if you see people glowing, that's the exile people. Their debuff is that they periodically glow. Grip ran as soon as they saw them, but a few planes members weren't so lucky. Uh-oh. I didn't even know the king was there. I didn't even know the king was there. Once more, things were looking up. Exile's plan was succeeding, and surely Maya would be just over the horizon. There were only 2 planes members left when the game crashed. Oh, worries, I could just open up the game again, log in real quick, and... How the fuck does this keep happening? So, apparently, Rasplin got his hands on an end crystal. He used it to kill every exile player I was aligned with, and quickly made himself scarce. Once more, right as everything was working exactly as I planned, one unchecked variable goes and fucks it all up! I had a grand total of 2 allies remaining, Crip and Roost. I was desperate for Rye's head, and I had one last plan to get it. And this was it. Last day. I was only made aware that this was the last day hours before, so I had to finish my plan before Bry could finish his. Bry had to die by the end of this session. One of Bry's first decrees as King of Wasteland was the construction of a castle on the central landmass of Moon Lava. The lead builder of this project was none other than Roost, which was perfect for my plan. Knowing it was the last day to see what Waste had done in his absence, he would follow Roost to the castle, where a TNT minecart trap lay prime and ready. As soon as he approaches the spiral staircase, I would flick the lever on the back and blow him up. In the event that he survives, Cryptek enderpearls in, and the 3 of us crit him out. Crip and I set up the trap, certain that today would be the day Bry dies. I went looking for him in the swamp, where I was surprised to see that no one was attacking me. This confirmed to me that Mithrodak hadn't warned Bry about me. It was perfect. While I was looking for him, though, something very strange started happening. Every single member getting exiled. Not a single player was left in their own nation. Why was this happening? I had no idea. Till... all joined the stage. No, I need to kill Bry.
TP here. Everyone. Did it work?
At everyone. Oh shit, we're all here.
Oh god.
Everyone was teleported to Exile Island. My plan had once again failed, and this time I had no more. I had no more plans, I had no more time, and I had no more shits to give. Time and time again my plans failed. Time and time again I let Bry win, but this was the last time. All I could do was fight him to the death or die trying. The admins turned off PvP, so I had to wait, but once they turned it back on, if they turned it back on, I would strike. I didn't care who attacked me, as long as one of us died by the end of today. He took his spot on stage, eager to celebrate his unearned victory, ruling over people who hate him, and clinging desperately onto that stupid golden... Where's his crown?
We, the leaders of nations, all come together and forfeit our crowns to bring peace and bring everybody under the same banner. Urku, Zombie Dwarf, Breaks, and Dobbs, we all lose our crowns and hope that peace comes after the war. And then we're all here united together.
He gave up his crown. He did what I wanted him to do. Voluntarily. It was over. I'd won, but it didn't feel like I'd won. This whole time I was preparing to kill Bry, I had forgotten what I was fighting for. I started reconsidering if this was all worth it. If either of us had to die by the end of the day. But then my mind went to all the Wasteland people who died because of planes. The planes people who died from exile, and the exile people who died to Rasplin. I realized Bry never cared about world peace. If he did, he could have done all this day one. He waited until everyone he deemed a problem snuffed themselves out. And only then did he declare himself victorious. If I gave up now, I would be letting down every one of my allies who died fighting this tyrant. It was never about the crown. It was about power, and Bry still held too much. So, I waited for PvP to be enabled, ready to take down Bry once and for all.
No, get out of
Target
here.
bricks, target bricks.
Who'd snipe me?
Hell no, I'm staying alive. I left again.
He left. Right in front of my face, he left. Not only that, but a full netherite player suddenly pulled up on me, and I had to run for my life if I wanted to stay alive long enough for Bry to log back in. I had never felt more pressure in my life. A full 10 sessions of nations had been leading up to this. I could not die. I retreated to the ocean, waiting for Bry to come back online, when this happened.
There's no point in just running.
But no, the whole point was...
Oh, Bry, come here!
I'm crazy.
Nah, I'm gonna need you to mess. Fuck off. Please, man. my god!
If people see...
Yes! Yes! Let's go! Let's go! This is lore. This is part of my video. This is how my video ends. I did it. I did it! The dumbass didn't even fight. He just ran away. Mans was scared, bro. And that was it. A rebellion that quelled itself from the inside out was still somehow able to take out the most elusive leader in nation's history. This was only the story from my perspective, so if you want to see the canon story, or you want to join next season, go watch JJK's video. Link will be in the description. Also, I later found out Doly gave Briar screenshots of that conversation, so we knew everything from the start. LMAO! I'm here, Doly. Oh, Doly!
Is Doly on?
I'll fucking kill you, Doly. Don't think I won't. Ooh, spooky.
Doly got just destroyed. Doly was nuked.
Oh, this is new. I've never seen this fighting technique. This is just... He's just hoeing the ground.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I think I
Wait,
will
hold
be
up.
wrapping up.
I got crystalled. I got crystalled.
Bruh.